Yo, 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 what up? Good evening to all. Welcome to 95.5 TTTL radio with your hot takes, news, and things that go bump in the night. Hope everyone's doing all right out there. No, for real, good to see everyone. Been a fun day. We had popcorn night earlier. Amazing popcorn night. It was a good one, guys. If you don't know, Fridays on the wonderful Monkey Island at Symptoms of Reality channel, they do an awesome thing where you could submit your music and they'll play your videos, MP3s, whatever songs. Amazing community over there. Really talented, awesome folks. It's an honor to even have my music when I submit be included amongst the genius work of the folks over there. So big shout out to the Brother Monkeys, Trusto Moser, and of course Marilyn and Steve, who does the moderating and technical behind the scenes. Awesome job, guys. Really fun time. Yeah, just thought I'd pop in. I was actually going to go down a little trip down memory lane on an old video. There's been some recent drama lately, as a lot of people know, that I wasn't a part of at all, really. But with a certain show and some certain people and the bros and the pros, if you know, you knows. But it got me thinking a little while ago. I think it was during this whole Leakgate. When I had, if some of you followed, I put out a video kind of following up on the Scent Samurai's leak video on the Leviathan. Leak videos, plural, that he had made. I found some information and put it out there. And Samurai made a comment in his video that reminded me of something I totally forgot, of something I had said a long time ago. And it made me think about that video. And there was some discussion earlier in a chat on, they were talking about Scent Samurai. And, I think the Samurai can be a little bit of a divisive person for some people. He's not everyone's cup of tea. I think it's mostly because people don't get his humor or anything at first. If you just tune in and just see it and you're not used to it, you're like, what the fuck's this? You know what I mean? And that was my exact reaction when I first saw him. I was like, this is just way over the top ridiculous. And this is going back, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's been a while. We'll see. But let's see. We'll get into that in a minute. And I just want to go back and watch the video I made. Maybe not the whole thing, but some things on it just to see, because I don't generally ever go back and watch videos that I make, especially ones where I'm talking. But I thought it would be an interesting look back on my thoughts and what I said back then. Because, I don't know, maybe I owe Samurai an apology from that. I don't remember exactly. But I don't think so. I think at the end of it, I don't know. We'll see. But he made a comment about the other day, and I'd completely forgotten about it because so much time has passed that I ended up joining in to so many streams and, being more part of that community with all of you guys, the Renegades and whatnot. And but I thought it would be an interesting thing in light of all the things lately that's gone on recently with the negative stuff being said about the man, and what's gone on with those particular guys and that show. And I will clarify that that particular show and those dudes over there on the island of Great Britain, and most of the people that I interact with around the world, and England included, have been awesome and stuff. But I kind of, even before this, there's actually two particular individuals on that show who just kind of turned me off. Just kind of the pompous attitude and the level, so to where I stopped watching it. I started watching that show like years ago, like when it first started. I've been following. I've given super chats to them in the past, and it's no hate, no negativity or anything like that. But I was just a lot of times I'd tune in and it was just fucking boring. If they didn't have a guest or like a decent topic or something, I just can't sit there and just like watch them just like do their banter like that. It's just not for me, you know. Maybe I have a little bit of ADHD. Maybe I'm just too American or something to like really just be able to. I don't know what it is, you know what I mean. But it was just fucking boring to me. So I kind of quit watching and tuning in general, and just the attitude of one of the particular people on that show that was the one that, you know, anyhow, I'm not going to get into the drama because that's not my style or part of it, but I thought I would comment a little bit on it. The bros, the pros, the hoes, and all of those that care or don't care. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to go over just a few things. Check this video out. Maybe talk about a couple things from the NAMM show that I saw. Let's see who we got in here. Thanks everybody for jumping in. We got Probes. What up, man? Awesome tracks from you today, sir. That was such a good popcorn night. George G's, the legend himself, Sparky brother, probably out there still working, getting overtime. George, always getting that synth money. Yeah. Space Capsule, what up, man? Here we go. Let's see, we got Trusto, what up, dude? Mr. Tone Smith, welcome, as always. Good to see you guys. GearTube, hello. We got, looks like we got like over 1,000 people in here. I can't name everyone. The Electronic Composer, Rourke. Keep that music train running, Trader. I'm trying there. Electronic Composer, Michael. I'm always up to something. Even when I seem like I'm silent and quiet and you don't hear from me for a while, there's always something brewing with me. And it's probably not going to be anything like what you've heard before. Like, if you can't tell, like, I don't have a set genre, set style, set anything. It's whatever I feel and what comes to my mind and whatever influences that I'm having in the moment. And I like it that way, you know. I like to shake it up when it comes to sounds because I get bored. Maybe it's the ADHD, like I said. Maybe I should get tested. I don't know. But yeah, let's see. Yes, Rourke, good to see you, dude. Nice little tribute to Uncle Jerry. Your track there at the end was awesome. Moser, what up? Hope you got through with your day, sir. I don't know, it sounded pretty brutal in the weather, -8, hardcore. So salute to you for being out there, you know, making that cheeseburger money, that cheeseburger soup money. Let's see, Tone Probes, Andy Fireblade Music, what up, man? Awesome track from you, dude. Also beautiful. Everybody makes such amazing stuff in there. So, okay, let me, I don't think I missed any. Cress, what up? Labiasin. Oh, that's a good one, Cressy. I like that. Oh, that's funny. All right. That's really good, actually. That thing rules. You guys don't even know. Thing is so badass. I'm gonna do a whole video just on it, just because people hate on it, and it's insane. But like I said before, it's only badass if you have the other things to go with it. By itself, I would never tell anybody to just like buy that and play that synth by itself. That's not what it is. Yeah, Andy, totally, man. I mean it. Excellent stuff. All right, guys. So what I'm gonna do here, I'll move it on over. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna play a video. And this is going to go way back. Let's see where we are here. We're going to go pick because we fancy like that. All right. So, yes, this is my channel. We are going to scroll down, and we got to go way back. Way back. I've done a lot of videos in this last year, I noticed. And thanks to Synth Samurai for giving me the encouragement to go live, along with, you know, watching Noir's stream for years and years. And, some of the other people that when I put it out there, should I start going live? But it was Samurai who really kind of like gave me the like, because I didn't think like people would be into it or like, whatever reasons. Maybe I was intimidated to do it live because one little mistake, you can't edit it or whatever. But yeah, but I'm gonna go back to yonder times, and I guess it was pretty far back. Oh, here we go. So it says as a year ago. I think it was actually more than that, but because this is way before I think the Muse came out or anything. So it's called Synth Drama. Is humor needed in the music gear YouTube world? Behringer Bros, the Synth Mafia, brand loyalty, and gear talk. Now at this point, I think I'd stumbled on the Samurai. He just popped up in my feed. Didn't know anything about, I don't think, any of the other Renegades. I don't think the Renegades were even fully formed at this point. It was basically just Synth Samurai. And this is back when he was kind of hanging out with a certain other person that we don't speak their name anymore. He was kind of tight with then. He might have been doing the show with Echo at this point, but this is before the Renegades had like formed together and stuff. So just for some context. So I'm gonna go back and watch this just because when Sammy made that comment the other day, it reminded me like he basically said like I insulted him in a video, and I guess like looking back on it now on what I said and what's transpired since, it is kind of insulting. But at the same time, I kind of felt like I was trying to warn, because I'd seen for years before the Samurai came on the scene, I'd seen this certain person like really be brutal and shitty to other people's channels, people like Todd Smith, people like others. And I thought at the time, like, yeah, anyway, let's see what I said. I'm not sure it's everything that I said. So we're just going to watch this, guys. I've never gone back and watched one of my videos, and definitely not, in general, usually, and definitely not on the live stream. So if you guys want to hang out and check it out, let's see here. Says it was shown. Well, maybe part of it I flashed too. Let's see.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Trader of the Living here. Hope everyone's doing really well.
Let me know if you guys can hear it. Okay.
Warm weather we finally have, and it's going to be a good summer. So I hope everyone's doing really well out there. And I'm just in.
Damn! Look at that tan. That's when I had to work outside every day.
With the Moogs.
Don't miss that shit.
Still.
So this was
having fun with
a couple summers ago,
and experimenting with that. Today I just wanted to have a little chat, a little talk about gear and some stuff that I've been seeing going on around the internet on YouTube. I was going to address the whole...
Damn, look how little gear I had out on the tables at that point. Things have quite escalated.
Behringer Bros and the Synth Mafia stuff that I've seen. I don't know if some of you are familiar with the Synth Samurai. I've checked out a couple of his live streams, and there was one a week or two ago, maybe not even that long, where he kind of went at Weaver Beats over a Behringer video he made. Now, I've shared some thoughts on Behringer, and I've kind of tried to steer away from the drama of it all. It seems kind of a polarizing subject where people are either adamantly hate Behringer and despise them, or they're just completely obsessed and love them to death. And I'm not like that with any gear manufacturers or companies in any facet of life. I'm not like I do have an iPhone, but I'm not like a huge Apple guy or whatever. I've got a PC also. I do have companies that I do like. I am a fan of Moog. I like their products. There seems to be, from what I gather, this kind of mindset where people think that if you have Moogs, you have to be a rich person. And I just don't understand that. I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're buying a $5,000 Mini Moog Model D, you know, that's beyond my what I'm willing to save up and spend on a synthesizer. But like, you know, all of mine, I've got an assortment of some Moogs, and they're all, you know, I think reasonably priced. You know, the Spectravox is probably a little bit more expensive.
So just for some context on what I'm talking about is in the videos uh Sammy was making back then, there was kind of this he was very down and like bagging on Moog. And this is like I said, before I'd had any interaction or talked to him or really knew anything about him. And he was like bagging on like oh, everybody, the rich snobs that have the Moogs and this and that, and always like bagging on Moog. And I'm like, you know, here I am, like blue collar, working class motherfucker, and I love my Moogs. So that's what I'm addressing to that, because I saw a video, and this is my response to that. So just for some context, so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about here, or why I'm talking about it.
Than it could have been, being that it was the same price as the other three. Um, but they're not. You know, I'm as blue collar as it gets. I work in the trades. I work with my hands. I get dirty every single day. You can see I have raccoon eyes from having to wear my safety glasses out in the sun. Um, you know, I don't think that just because you buy certain gear that you're necessarily like some kind of like synth snob or whatnot. I've got a 2600 Behringer right behind this at the moment. It's pushed aside because I'm just working with Moogs right now. But I think there's a lot of like, you know, preconceptions about people who buy certain kinds of gear, which is just ridiculous to me. You know, buy what you want, buy what's going to work for you. They're just tools. All this stuff, it's just tools to make music. And it shouldn't be looked at as more than that, you know? I mean, I have an assortment of all kinds of companies' gear. I'm not opposed to
Still pretty much feel that way.
I'm still plan on getting the Cobalt Expander to put at the bottom of the 2600. But this whole thing on the Behringer Bros, and you know, when I first saw Synth Samurai, I just was just like, no, you know, immediately it was suggested in my feed, and it's like I watched a second of it, it was like, this is not for me at all. I'm not a wrestling fan or anything like that.
Now, remember, this is like literally I had seen one video before this, and then I had watched a video. Uh-oh. The hell happened? Okay, you guys can hear me. I'd seen one video of him like going out Weaver Beats, and then I saw the one of him like ripping on Moog people, and then I'd watched the live. So you'll let me. I think I explained like my position pretty good, but this was my initial impressions. So this is what, and this was Samurai's first seeing this video was how he was introduced to me. So
And and then when I saw that live stream he did about Behringer Moog and Weaver Beats, it was like, I was kind of just not, it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And I usually don't take things to heart, but that one just kind of bugged me. His whole approach and just hit the Lord Uli and all his over the top. And I guess I just didn't really get it. I watched his newest one this morning, and I kind of changed my mind a bit on the Synth Samurai. You know, I've been following off and on synth punk for years, and he's kind of like a protege in a way of synth punk. And you know, say what you.
that was the line that he mentioned the other day. I had said that, and I mean at the time, that's kind of what it, because he was like having him on the show, and it seemed like now in retrospect, after everything that's happened, I mean obviously I would have never said that and stuff. So I do apologize that for Samurai. If you watch this, or you'll probably hear about it. it's just at the time that's kind of what I thought. You were hanging out with that dude a lot and whatnot, and with the being silly and humor. But you've carved your own path, and I could see like if someone said that about me back then, I would probably be kind of pissed off too. Not pissed, but I would like I don't know, like I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Especially after, I mean, I don't even know exactly what happened between those two, but I know it wasn't good. Um, but yeah, so now I see. Yeah, calling him the protege. I thought that's what he said in that stream the other day. So, but yeah, you might hear that name again. We won't say it aloud. I know but you might hear it in the video. Yeah, we'll finish this and then I'll jump in the chat.
You want about synth punk, he can be, you know, I don't always like and agree with the stuff that he says, and often don't agree with him on gear or and how he goes after other YouTubers, making fun of them. You know,
For more context, like I had been following off and on that individual that we're talking about that's been black sheeped from the scene or whatever for years and years before, since like for like 4 or 5 years. So and had seen a lot of stuff go down with his channel and other channels. So just so you guys have a little more context there.
um, and since Samurai has kind of taken that same approach, but towards companies, you know, he goes after Moog and holds Behringer up, and so and they're I guess friends. He was on. They had a interview. He interviewed Synthpunk and stuff, and Synthpunk's an interesting one because he I don't know how much of it's real, and sometimes I thought maybe he has some like mental issues as far as the thing with his thing with the trolls and the people.
I think it's come to light that it's pretty obvious that he has that dude has some serious mental issues and stuff. Maybe I'll skip a little bit ahead from this because no, we don't need to dwell or give any attention to that guy. So let's skip a little ahead.
A place we need some humor and some entertainment factors, because a lot of times a lot of the gear and synth electronic music type channels, they're very serious. Some of them are a little pretentious in my opinion. There's stuff for everybody. There's guys, now they have this whole thing with the synth mafia, which I guess is like the big time synth YouTubers that get gear and release it at the same time. I'm guessing they're talking about people like Loot Pop, Bo Beats, etc. The synth mafia, maybe there is like a little bit of a club there. I don't know. I'm not in those circles really. I think there's a lot of good people out there. There's ones that you can choose to follow, Noir, Ricky Tinez, Alex Ball, Red Means Recording, the ones that I like, and I don't have anything against Loot Pop or Bo. I mean, I've watched so many Loot Pop videos before I've bought a piece of gear, as I think we all have, or when you buy a piece of gear and you just don't feel like reading the manual right then and want to just get into something. But, I think the whole Behringer Bro thing was, it's just so cringe, so cheesy, you know what I mean? It's like, Uli, Lord Uli, and all this stuff. And
so yeah, when it first like came to me, like in hearing that, to me that was my first impression of it. I was like, what is the, like, but I didn't get it, the humor. But like, if you listen, I'm pretty sure I talk about the humor of it. Again, this was my first introduction to the, like, I watched a video of like, and he was going off in that video. It was like, in the bubble bath, Uli's bubble bath, soaking it. He was like way over the top, and I was like, what is going on right now? It was my first impression, and then like the Behringer Bros, like I was just like, I didn't know how to take it, so this was my my approach. But I'm pretty sure, like when you hear my conclusion, that this obviously a lot of time has gone on, and I've come to I love the samurai. I think he's hilarious. I tune in all the time. The dude cracks me up. I think he's a fantastic entertainer. So this was a long time ago.
You know, I mean, obviously, there's some people it resonates with, but after today and watching the live stream today, I think I kind of got more of an understanding of what the Sin Samurai is doing. He's just doing it for entertainment. He's trying to make things a little more lighthearted in the community, and that's okay. I might not watch a lot of his videos and stuff, but I think there's a place for that. And when I first watched that Weaver video he did, I thought about doing and I was gonna do a whole thing where uh, as a character come on and just kind of mock the whole thing and do like a parody of it. And then I thought a little bit more about that for the last couple days, and I was like, maybe that's not the nicest thing to do. I don't need to make fun of anybody.
That actually could have been funny if I came on as a character as like the evil wrestling dude against him and stuff. Like that actually could have been done funny in a way. I forgot that I even was thinking of doing that. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Or anything. And then watching his live stream today, I kind of was like, you know what? Yeah, let people let there be that niche. They want to have a WWE wrestling kind of thing. Sure, that's funny. Let them do it without making fun of it and stuff. But it is weird to me that people latch so hard onto brands that they it almost becomes like part of their identity. And it's like if you make fun, if you mock a Chevy or a Toyota or something for some reason, the person takes it personally. And I've never been like that kind of person where I just have that kind of identity tied in with manufacture with companies, corporations. I find it weird, and I think Ben Jordan did a video on it a while back about brand identity or loyalty, and it's an interesting subject, and I think this whole thing kind of ties directly into that. If someone wants to criticize Moog, they're saying Moog's dead, they've screwed up,
Obviously I was getting in my feelings about some of the things that were being said about people who owned Moogs is why I think that this video came about. Because I was like watching, it's like, motherfucker, I ain't rich. You're sitting here mocking me because I love my Moogs. I saved up for these son of a bitches with my hard-earned cash. And I think that was kind of what spurred. I was like, man, I wanted to clarify that, just because you own Moogs doesn't mean you're some snobby rich motherfucker, is kind of why I was a little fired up that morning. But, and then I was just tripping out on it was something new in the space. Everything before that was, you would have a little succulent next to something and someone speak in a nice voice. And since videos, it was super pretentious and you know, there's people who did good things. Don't get me wrong. I named some of the people I like and stuff, but so to see someone like the Samurai come in and just have this whole thing with being hilarious and wrestling and over the top, we're gonna take we're the Barrage Bros, and it's it was all new and I didn't know how to take it at first, and I was like, is this guy totally trying to talk shit on me? You know what I mean? Because of the products I own. So it was I had to come to grips with it. And in this video I did. It's kind of funny to look back on. We'll just finish up the last little bit, and then we won't watch the end. I'll jump in the chat, guys, but pretty funny.
They went bankrupt because they blew it and all this stuff, Obviously, there were some decisions made there in that company that were poor to lead them in that direction, where they can't manufacture everything in the States anymore, and they're bought out by a big, is it In Music or, yeah, In Music, I believe. But they're still coming out with products. They've got another big one, I guess, coming out later this summer. And they've done the Spectravox. There's leaks on, I forget what it's called, another in the family, the same form factor.
As Cressy called it, the labyrinth. Labyrinth. That's too good, Chris.
Factor that looks super cool. I think it's the Labyrinth, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'll probably get it because I enjoy it. Now, again, I'm not a super rich person. I have to save up for these. Sometimes I finance them through Zounds, the no interest payment plan, which is an amazing thing if you're a musician and you want to, pay as you play. Zounds rules for that. But the whole, this against that, and, the reason these guys don't seem to understand that, some of us don't like copying products from companies that are currently making those products. It's one thing to do the 2600 or, the Cobalt or certain ones that are just like old products, that you can't get anymore unless you pay an insane amount of money for. It's, we like that. We don't like the copying of the new available stuff of smaller manufacturers and stuff like Moog. I'm not mad that someone can buy a Crave and have a Mother 32. I just don't think it's right that they're copying like that. And that goes in anything. If someone's copying a pedal, some Chinese knockoff of a company, a small boutique company that makes a pedal or something, it's just an opinion that I think it's ethically wrong. And then there's the whole, Uli thing and their social media. It's just like, I just don't really like Behringer like that, and like I said, I don't have to like a company or love a company in order to use their tools. If I buy a Klein tool or a Milwaukee tool, it's not because I love that company and whatnot. It's because it's a good quality tool for me to use at work for what I need to do. And I see musical instruments and gear the exact same way. They're just tools to get to the end, to build and create what you need to make. So,
having said that, I do think like having a Moog is more like having a Nipex or a Wera or a Weha, like killer tool next to like the junk that Klein's become now. And so, you can buy a cheaper Chinese thing and expect it to last and be what it is, I don't really feel so much about that. I've bought a bunch of Behringer products since then. Not a bunch, but a few. Actually, quite a few. I've got pedals. I've got some new synths from them. And I still don't think it's awesome for them to copy somebody like Moog or some product that you could buy in the store right now. But I get it, and it doesn't make me mad, just so you know.
People need to stop, it's okay. If you don't want to buy a product, then don't buy it. It's just like if you see something that you don't agree with on the internet, you can just scroll past it, It's just, you don't have to participate, support it if you don't want to. And yeah, I don't know about the whole Synth Mafia thing and all this, stuff they're creating with their channels. It's funny and kind of entertaining. Not my cup of tea necessarily, but I see the niche being, kind of needed. Gear and sounds I can create already out, but and maybe an Electron thing that I'm working on over.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. Kicked out of the, banned from every Synth Renegade stream ever again after no. That was actually Samurai. If you look on here, I think he commented. He was super cool. I didn't know he was going to watch the video. Must have popped on up in his feed, or someone must have told him or something. But he came down. 88 comments on that video. People came out in force for it. And that's I said. I'm thinking about maybe starting a live stream. Would anybody be interested? And then let's see. But he yeah. See, listen. What I said about him, like, could it be construed? Listen to how positive and a good dude Samurai is. He said, "Great perspective, brother. I appreciate your opinion. Not a lot of people seem to get the humor or satire I'm kind of doing, which I understand. It's not for everyone. Just trying to bring some lightheartedness to the synth world, create a comic book style world. Maybe bad idea. You got a sweet setup. Just subbed. Look forward to more content and maybe live stream." See, I mean, how freaking cool is that, dude? Like, I mean, seriously, like, that's just like amazing to I might not have taken it so been so cool about it. I don't know. But yeah, I just I'd forgotten about that video till Sammy made that comment the other day, and I forgot I made that particular. There was that one statement I said about SP, but yeah, that was a long time ago. My opinions and things have changed a lot since then. Obviously, I've come to really enjoy what Samurai does, and then got to know Echo's channels and most all you other guys. So that it is what it is. But let's see, how bad are you guys roasting me here? Let's see. Remember, that was a long time ago. Let's see, Uli's analog bubble bath. That was it, Banana. Trust reviewers' integrity. They're being paid. Uli was kicked off a synth shop by some snobs when he was just some curious kid with. Oh yeah. It's admirable. Hail Lord Uli. Fair enough, Rook. I think I saw that in the Sweetwater interview. And yeah, my opinion's changed on Behringer as well. Like I said, I've bought in quite a few products since. I still don't have love like that for any company. I'm never going to like champion any company. I am kind of a Moog fanboy, have been. I have a ton of their stuff, but I don't go off. Robert Moog was always a hero to me. So, like Dave Smith and the greats, Tom Oberheim, it's a short list. Obviously, Roger Lynn is one of the huge ones. But let's see, Uli cartoon showing the storyline was gold. Yeah, moving and grooving. Behringer will buy out In Music, mark my word. I thought In Music owned Behringer. I don't know. Isn't In Music Uli? I thought that's. I like the Moog Semi modules. Me too. Synth fun. I think they're just a ton of synth fun. Excuse the pun. Let's see. What's up, Todd Bradshaw? For myself, brand loyalty goes back to when I was a kid. The other kids judged each other by the shoes they wore. Yes, Tigers, Nike, Reebok, Converse. It was rough wearing the Sears specials. I agree, man. That was actually a big thing. Yeah, and like the kids who had the Trax TR8X from Kmart, I luckily never had to wear those. I usually would get like cheap, like whatever basketball shoes, because they didn't have a lot of skateboard brand shoes back then. So I'd get like, I'm trying to think of some of the brands. But yeah, that was definitely a thing. Like the criticism on like, especially back in the 80s, people were like harsh about that shit. I don't know brands I go for. Does it fulfill my needs? Yes, Probes. Will it do what you need? Got to bounce. Slater Trust, probably already out, but appreciate you dropping by. Guitars, shape clones everywhere. Yeah, I know. And pedals and guitars. The cloning thing has been a regular thing. And I don't get, like I said, it doesn't make me mad, but I don't have to think that it's necessarily right. Like I said, I love the old stuff. I'm never a fan of any company just like copying something that you could go buy. The one that was weird to me was the Keystep, because the difference between the Behringer Keystep and the Arturia one is like only like $20. So that was a weird one, I thought, to copy, but whatever, I thought that was just weird. Behringer won't buy out In Music. They're just being over the top for clicks. It's a funny bit, though. Yes, what's up, Sublime Synth? The Vapors is here. What's up, dude? Let's see. I first bought my first Moogs this year. The Messenger and the Grandmother. Nice. Hell yeah. I love them and understand the fuss. Right? I mean, if you own one, to me, like I just, it's the real deal. And growing up with just that Moog sound is such like a thing like that was like unobtainable. So when I first got the Grandmother as my first Moog, it was like a huge deal for me. And I still love it to this day. So let's see, Airspeeds. What was I grew up? Airspeeds. I remember those. Banana Rider. What up? Woolworths, Plimsolls. Damn. Yeah, I don't know those. That must have been a British thing. Probes. I don't think that was here in the States. The Trax was a big one because Kmart. If you shopped at Kmart and stuff, like your parents bought you clothes from Kmart, like you were gonna take some shit. Luckily, we were more of like a Sears, J.C. Penney family. Walmart skate shoes. Yeah, that was a little after my time. Ross was always the place to go for skate shoes, Banana, because you could get like the seconds there. You could get like audios and actual like slightly decent skate shoes that like were like they do a buyout. I don't know how Ross still gets like decent shoes sometimes. I get them for my kids. Hey, nice setup. Hey, Heavy Cap, what up? Nice setup. Question: are you using Arturio Audio Fuse interface? I am. I'm using the Audio Fuse Studio, not the newer one, the big one. This is it's got 8 inputs, four stereo, and 4 mono, or 8 mono, two stereo, 4 mono, and I love it, man. It's a great interface. It really I jumped from what did I have? I had like a Focusrite before that, and this difference in sound was night and day. All of a sudden, it was like everything sounded so much better with the converters and preamps on there. I love this thing. I've been thinking they make a new. There's a thing that plugs in the ADAT. What is it called? It's a new little rack mount one where you can expand the inputs and outputs or whatever. It's got a bunch of outputs. There's an input one and an output one, I think. I was planning on getting that this year. To rely less on the patch band mixer and go direct in on some stuff. And it has so many outs that I want to use it for, I'd love to use for more of my effects to be able to just use those right from that. The thing that's awesome about the Audio Fuse Studio is you don't even need your computer on or nothing. You could just use it as like a standalone mixer, which I really love. So if I'm just doing like a Dallas Jam or something, I can just turn that on. Don't even have to have the computer or nothing on, which it's a great... Arturio makes really good interfaces. I love that damn thing. I have the 8016 rig. Nice tone. That's the newer big one, right? Yeah, that came out, or AF16, the Audio Fuse 16. Yeah, that came out a year or two, maybe even just like a while after I got this one. I was like, damn. But, for my purposes on the inputs, like I make do with the 2 stereo inputs. I use mixers and patch bass, but eventually I'd like to run things in those Kenny Andersons. Oh, Kenny's the man. Let's see. Haven't seen anything from a Chris Miller brand. Fuck yeah. I don't remember that one. Fuck yeah. I remember Planet Earth, his the board company and clothing company. I think Planet Earth might still be a clothing company. I don't know if Chris Miller owns it, but yeah, I remember when that was actually part of H Street, like way back in the day. It was like Planet Earth, H Street, and the Now and Later video. Brian Lottie, one of my all-time favorites. Like I said, I'm old school, early '90s, big pants, small wheels era. That was right before all the boys left, they left. Ternowski left H Street took a bunch of riders to form Plan B, and that was a short-lived thing with that crew of those 2 videos of questionable video and virtual reality. And then, of course, we know like all those dudes split and formed Girl and later Girl Chocolate. And, yeah, that was an awesome, amazing time in skateboarding. Let's see. Thanks. Okay, so I made a good choice then. I think you did, man. I'm not sure which Audio Fuse you got, but I think you can't go wrong, whether you have the 16, the 8, or even... I heard even the smaller ones are good. I think I have nothing bad at all to say about the Audio Fuse line. Arturia's, everything Arturia does is pretty damn good. I've never gotten a product from Arturia that just I was bummed on or sucked. Even from their software, I mean, the V collection and stuff, and their effects line. Those are my go-tos whenever I'm in the box. I use a lot of Arturia software when I work in the box, and then their controllers and sense and everything. Like Arturia is awesome. Matt Hensley, Lottie is a curb killer. Yeah, Matt Hensley was my dude. Like that was my dude in high school and stuff. Like me and my friends, we even like cargo shorts and chain wallets and yeah. I mean, I used to watch Hocus Pocus like religiously, probably thousands and thousands of times, and specifically Hensley's part. I still think he was so ahead of his time, had the best style. I still have the Trans World with his Pro Spotlight, and it's got that fold out centerfold where he's like I think it's in San Diego. It's like underneath the freeway. It's like a giant quarter pipe, and he's doing an ollie. I'm pretty sure it's a Sturt photo. Amazing. I should get that framed. It's got some holes from being tacked up through the years. I used to hang it in my bathroom when I was young. Have a bunch of old Trans Worlds and Thrashers still. But yeah, Hensley was the shit. That was like my favorite dude back then. Like it started with I liked Nodis and Gons and Vallely, however you say it for real. I think it's Vallely. We always called it Vallely because we didn't know how the fuck to say it. But yeah, then it was like once H Street came out, like that dominated everything. And then Plan B, obviously. And, the blind video, first blind video, Jason Lee. I mean, everybody knows Jason Lee now from movies and whatnot. A lot of people trip out when they find out, I was like, that dude was like one of my favorite pro skaters, best 360 flips in the game. He's the one who like pioneered that trick. I think he was the first one ever in a magazine or video to do a tray flip, 360 flip. I'm almost like positive. There might have been one from Rodney Mullen, like in an old PAL video on a freestyle board, maybe. But he claimed Rodney invented it and he learned it from Rodney and brought it to the big size board. But it was definitely Jason Lee who was the first dude to do that. And I remember this specific SMA before they were even World Industries. It was just SMA. They called Santa Monica Airlines, I guess, and Rocco Division. It was like Rocco came in and became part of SMA, and then that developed into World Industries. But he had Jason Lee and Mike Vallely, and it's a picture of them like it's black and white like sequence, and it's like I like to say Vallely. It's hard not to, but he's doing like a half cab mute grab, and then over this like little gap. It'd be little by today's standards, but back then it was a pretty hefty gap. And then Jason Lee's doing a 360 flip, a tray flip. And like we'd never seen that before. And I remember I just like staring at it and like looking at the sequence, just trying to figure out what the fuck is that? Because we still hadn't seen one in person, hadn't seen it in video or nothing. And it's all in black and white. It was like small pictures, And I remember we just look at it and be like, what do you think this is? We'd go out and try to figure out what the fuck he was doing, and it was like, I don't know. It was probably another year or two before the blind video came out. Maybe it's about a year. Stuff progressed so fast back then. And every video that came out, that was the best time in skateboarding because every video that came out was like NBDs. That's when all the tricks were invented. And say what you want about skateboarding nowadays. I love it. But it's just like the same tricks being done, just on bigger stuff. It's pretty rare that you see something totally new invented. Granted, back then it was sloppy and stuff being thrown on the ground and foot drags and hands on the ground, but the fact that it would be like new tricks, it was all about like, what's new? Did you see the new magazine? Like, oh my God, they did like a, front side fucking a half cab flip. Like what? Like the first time you see it, Ollie Impossible when Ed Templeton came on scene with the Impossibles, like, oh my God, he wraps the board around his foot. Like that shit was mind blowing back then. And then later we get, the most beautiful Impossibles ever by like Dylan Reeder and like, anyhow, everybody's probably jumping off being like, why the fuck is he talking about skateboarding? But, let's see. Have you seen him? That's the Powell, the Animal Chin. Yes, manual, not very helpful. Trying to figure out the routing matrix. The 16 rig. Yeah. Tone might be able to help you with that. Mine's really easy. Todd Coglier, yes. Liberty killed the Vert and dope ass punk band. Yeah, dude. Liberty Skates. I loved that company. I loved their graphics. I'd love to have one of those shirts nowadays. I'm gonna look for that actually. I would totally sport that nowadays. The Matrix does kind of feel like half baked idea, but it all works. Oh yeah, talking about the damn, you giving me great nostalgia. So hyped, you're a true skater at heart. Hell yeah, you too, banana. Shacklemanot was the shit. I still have Hocus Pocus. Dude, look. Let me show you something. Look at this. Matt Hensley. We were just talking about him. Hocus Pocus. I had Shackle Me Not too. I had both these. This is the original VHS, dude, from back in the day. What is this? Oh, it's the original Hocus Pocus FBI thing that came with it about like recording it. But this is the original deal, dude. I got this at a skate shop in probably like 1988 or 89. Doesn't even have a tag on it. Probably. Oh, that used to be on this. That's the sticker that went over it. It's so old that the sticker's gotten dry and fallen off. I don't think there was one on here. Maybe there was and that's gone. But yeah, so I had this and Shockman. I got some other classic old videos too, but this one's like my one of my prizes, bro. This one, I mean, that picture of him doing the 1 foot on the front side 1 foot, that's a pretty rare one. You don't see people to bust a front side ollie. Hensley's style, dude, that hand, the best. So I always, everywhere I've lived, I display these on a shelf. I mean, not everywhere, but a lot of times. And years ago, it was about 14 years ago, I was living in Portland and Oregon, and I was living with my homie Eric. He was another dude from Phoenix, and skater, bass player also. So we got along real well. But we had like some skate memorabilia out in the living room, and I put a Hocus Pocus in and Shackle Me Not. And this other dude moved in named Aaron, I think his name was. Only lived with us for a little bit. And after he was gone, Shackle Me Not was gone. And I was pissed, dude. Pissed. Because I didn't notice for a while. It's just something on the shelf. And one day I was like, where the fuck is Shackle Me Not? Granted, the tape didn't play anymore because it was so worn out. But yeah, it was a bummer because I loved it just for the package. It looked cool. I also have the blind video, and I got some old school videos. I got a whole bunch of videos from the 90s. Let the Horns Blow was one of my favorites. Also, anyhow, yeah. See on that one, he's skating the curve part of the underpass. Yes, Rocco, the man who sold the world. That's a great documentary. I'd love to see him get Rocco on the 9 Club. Oh yeah, the sequence pics. I'm way behind. Sorry. These guys went on a huge probes. All I remember is Kryptonics wheels. Dude, I had some Kryptonics. Those were smooth as hell on a board when I was like in 6th grade. One of my brother's boards. It was so sick. Those were smooth as some of the smoothest wheels I ever rode. That was the best. You just ate those magazines, right? Poured through them, tried to reverse engineer with it. Yeah, it was a fun time, man. I'm always, VHS is sick, isn't it, dude? Yeah, I'm hyped to still have that. I should break out. I have a bunch of old magazines too. I keep a lot of it in a box. When was I living in Portland? From like, let's see, I moved there in like 2006 to about 2013, I'd say. 2012, 2013. So I was there for like 7, maybe 8 years. Then I went back a few times. It's actually where my daughter was born, my first child. Met the mom, her mom there, and my son wasn't born there, but he was conceived there. So both my kids were. Oh, you in PDX? Right on, Space Capsule. Nice. I miss it sometimes, dude. It just once I had my kids, the cost of living there, yeah, it got to be too much. and I had to follow work. I had to follow where the money was at the time because I was like going to be a new dad and had to, step up to that plate and stuff. So, plus being in PDX, like I was like, the good beer there and everything else, um, made it, I think, I would have had a harder time breaking away from a certain lifestyle that I was in then. Um, but Kryptonics were the best. But I do miss PDX, dude. Yeah, I've heard like crazy. I still got a bunch of friends there. I'd love to go back and visit. It's probably been a good 10 years since I was there. Last time I went there, I think was to get like we had some stuff in storage there still. But yeah, man, there was some great places to skate there. Obviously Burnside, but some of the parks. I used to love to go to Hood River. That was like one of the ultimate parks I've ever skated ever. What's that other one too? Like outside Vancouver, Battleground, I think it was. I have a bunch of pictures and some video of friends. I knew some super rippers that I knew back then. I actually like hung out with some of the creature dudes when I lived up there. One of my friends from Reno was like real good homies with like David Gravette and some of those dudes, and I'd go out. I went out in some sessions with them, and usually it ended up at the bar because those dudes like that's how they sessioned was like just slam beers and they do gnarly shit though, like stuff I wouldn't do, like handrails and long ass big shit. But we used to meet up at the park. Actually, have some pictures with David Gravette is a super cool dude. Um, yeah, I miss the Northwest in general, man. The Columbia River Gorge, taking trips to Astoria and stuff. Conceived in Portland. He was, yeah, yeah. She got pregnant with him before we left. Um, so that's his claim to fame. No, I'm just kidding. Mate converted his ice skates, rollers using Kryptonics. Damn, around 7980. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Kryptonics were the best. They were the shit. Let's see. HR is awesome. Hell yeah. Well, shit, guys. I think my brother is back. He's got the night off. My brother lives with us too. Don't see him too much because his night shift, but I think said he was bringing a couple pizzas for the kids and I. We're gonna maybe watch a movie or something and chill out. Might play a game of Risk, the board game. My son's been hounding me to play game of Risk. That one's so long though. I'm like, dude, can we play something else? Like Risk takes a long time, but it is fun. Try and talk him into playing in the morning and playing something else tonight. We got some other killer board games. But I appreciate you guys all jumping in, hanging out, watching that video. Again, I just wanted to watch back on it and see like how bad what it said. Because the way Samurai said it, like I was like, I almost felt bad. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like, because Samurai always, like I said, lifts everyone up around him. If there's one thing I've learned about that guy, he's just a positive force and a motivating force. And I wanted to go back and see like how bad it was. And I was like, you know what, if I do that, I should do it live so everyone can see, and there was some things I said in there that, I don't think any of it was too harsh. The protege thing was probably the worst thing. And I think that's what he didn't like. But that's just what I thought at the time, because like he was always like, phone calls with that person and doing interviews and like, like they always talking about each other. And now we know that person's like psychotically obsessed with the Samurai and whatever that whole situation is. But I kind of was trying to warn him in some ways, and some other stuff I says like, don't get too close to that dude. You know what I mean? Like, but then same times like, well, maybe he knows him a lot better. I don't really know the guy personally that well, so maybe it's just like a shtick that he has on his channel and whatever. But yeah, I totally appreciate y'all. Give a shout out to everybody who jumped in. Let's see, have a good weekend to you. Catch you later, bros. Moser, dude, awesome popcorn night. You guys killed it tonight. Like that's the best shit on YouTube to me right now is popcorn night. It's like the most fun. Just such an awesome thing to be a part of. Everybody kills it. So much talent. Yeah, guys, Banana Rider Probes, Todd, Space Capsule, everybody. Anybody I missed, I apologize. Heavy Cap, hopefully you got some of your questions answered. A real board, Gabe. Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah. Get them off the screens for a little bit. Right on, dudes. I will talk to you soon. Remember, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and keep that PMA all day, every day. Peace.